Any books on Richard III, the King?
I know who you mean. We have 8 titles.
I'll take them.
Which ones?
All of them.
Well, Thomas, you're going to talk about a film that's getting limited release. Stephen Frears, Steve Coogan, Sally Hawkins, who loves fish. They offer a story about a woman seeking to find the remains of Richard III in Lawndale. I think that's the storyline.
What?
Is that
It was actually Kaiser, I believe.
Kaiser?
Yeah.
Kaiser. All right, Richard III's remains in Kaiser. So 3
There are
questions.
probably a lot of things in Kaiser that haven't been found.
So 3 questions on this before you dive into the review. Are there any sea creatures in this movie?
There are no sea creatures. They do dig into some subterranean levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say that again, like really fast. They
Yeah,
really
I'll
dig
I'll
into
time
it.
you.
They really
Let's
do
go.
dig.
We don't have all day. Let's go.
All right, Monty Python references, any of those in this movie?
No, but there's some characters that look like they come straight from Monty
Okay.
Python. Yeah.
And does this have anything to do with Lord of the Rings?
No, not quite, but
So we'll approach that later.
we will.
All
We
right.
certainly
so,
will.
So dive into your topics of the Lost King.
So this is based on a book written by Philippa Langley and Michael Jones. And Philippa Langley, it's based on a somewhat true story from her life, and that is adapted here into this film. And Sally Hawkins plays that character, Philippa. And she's a woman who's divorced, but she's still living in the same house as her ex-husband. And they're working to raise their 2 sons together. And she's also worked in an office sales job.
Now that's a dynamic.
It really is an interesting dynamic, and her husband is Steve Coogan, who co-wrote the script for this film. So she's working in this office sales job, and she also deals with chronic fatigue syndrome. So all of this, she's at a point in her life where she really needs something to kind of inspire passion and energy just in her daily life, because she's caught in a cycle.
It kind of sounds like a Greg Tillman story.
It sounds exactly like Greg Tillman's life.
Sadly, that may be kind of accurate.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well,
It's so great having him back out here.
It really is. It really is. This is the kind of energy we need.
Why am I doing this?
For our enjoyment.
Hopefully, I'm not being seen at least, so I can still escape the authorities.
Well, anyway, Philippa, she needs a goal to work towards. She needs something tangible. And she finds that inspiration when she goes to a stage production of Richard III, which is a Shakespeare play, and she begins to question its historical accuracy. And this sets her on a path to clear the good name of King Richard III, and finds that there are other people who want to do the same. And this is her newfound purpose. This king was someone who history wrote as a usurper, as someone who was a terrible individual. But she thinks, you know what, there might be, maybe the people who wrote history covered some of his good deeds up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead, Greg, because I was like, it continues to sound like Greg Tillman to me.
Yeah, and I got nothing. I got nothing.
Oh, add even more to that. She's having visions of an apparition of Richard III. And so she finds herself speaking with him and interacting with him every day. And of course, other people around her think that she's kind of losing it.
Yeah.
They think she's going through some sort of major,
Crisis,
psychological break. And her friends even try to stage an intervention of sorts. But throughout this journey, there's going to be some opposition, and at times it does her more harm than good in the individual moments. But generally, over the arc of the narrative, this adventure brings her personal healing, and it's what she needed in the long run. She's on a quest for truth, and she wants to unearth that truth at all costs. I think this movie is a testament to the power of art to embolden and galvanize everyday people to do something extraordinary.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like you were impressed with the story.
I was quite impressed with the story. This was the type of movie that I feel like, my late grandparents, Bob and Ray Lean, it would have been their favorite movie of the year.
Really?
It's their
kind of film.
That PBS, that BBC type audience,
Yeah.
they would just fall in love with it. It's extremely British, very, very British.
Well, a great cast, great talents behind the scenes putting this together as well. I know when they sent this trailer, I said, yeah, this looks like something I would enjoy because it's a different kind of film. It's just a little different, has that indie vibe to it.
Yeah, it's just Sally Hawkins just searching for meaning in life, and she finds it in something that may or may not be real to other people, but it's real to her. So.
Yeah. So other thoughts about it that you appreciated?
So the actor who plays Richard III, both in the apparitions but also in the stage production, I kept looking at him thinking, this guy is super familiar. Where do I know him from? I felt like he was from somewhere in Game of Thrones, but he wasn't a recurring character on Game of Thrones. And I realized that he played Daenerys Targaryen's brother, Viserys Targaryen, in the first season of Game of Thrones. And of course, there's a reason I didn't remember him because he didn't stick around for very long. Bit of a spoiler for Game of Thrones. But he's really, really fascinating. He's just the way he carries himself is very fascinating, and he has incredible hair in this movie. I'm pretty sure it's a wig, but it's beautiful.
It's kind of like a Thomas Manning hair.
I was thinking yours is a wig too, isn't it?
I think that's going to be his model for my next.
It didn't quite match the fake, mustache earlier.
Yeah, he does. He does not have a mustache, which was a little bit disappointing. But his hair, incredible. That's going to be what I'm setting my sights on moving forward. So
you've already talked about who would appreciate this. Wow. Those who
I think
enjoy.
You should go for mutton chops. I think that girls love those.
I just love the name
21st century.
Chops. That just sounds like something you'd order at the Shelby Cafe or something. Yeah, give me some of those mutton chops, and I put some gravy on them. Some gravy and some barbecue sauce. Kentucky fried barbecue sauce.
Need fried okra.
Fried okra, absolutely. So you've already said the PBS crowd, the BBC crowd, definitely be the ones that would be drawn to this. Others that you think would appreciate it? Or is that really kind of more of a high art
people
kind of
like
thing?
Greg Tillman, who it's based on his life. So yeah.
Do you have any questions for Thomas?
No, I don't even want to see the movie. I've already lived it, apparently.
But I think this isn't a movie that anybody's going to hate. There's nobody that's going to be like, I actively dislike this film. It's just pretty much presents itself exactly as it is, and it's not going to offend anybody. Yeah. And anybody's going to walk away from it going, hey, that was pretty good. So, yeah.
So what is your rating for this?
I'll give it a solid B for The Lost King, and I believe it's hitting theaters limited release.
I know we're running long, but I do have is it a drama? Is it a comedy? A dramedy?
It's a dramedy. Yeah,
okay.
Dramedy.
All right.
Yeah, dramedy, and it comes to us from IFC. That is IFC. Igloo Fish.
Cobra.
Yeah. Igloo Fish Cobra.
Stay strong.
I'm here today to tell you a story about a person who is judged unfairly in life and never given the opportunity to show their true potential.
You don't happen to know where you are, do you? Might help.